Jeralds, a real bonus for Tapping the Source. He just showed up at this church in Ventura where we were filming, and he had an amazing story. We had to include him in this film. And you're going to be so pleased that we did. Listen to the full interview and learn how someone who wakes up every morning with a short-term memory that only lasts 3 to 4 days goes through life. Bill Jeralds, an artist, a maker of angels, and an angel himself.
I create these lovely angels in front of me. I was in a coma about 4 years ago. I used to run customer service centers for people like Digital Inside and AT&T, MySpace, and I had built up a very good career. You know, I was up in the executive level management, and I had a cold in September, and it just wouldn't go away. And my wife was, you know, Bill, you need to go see the doctor. And like every other guy, there's just no reason to go to a doctor. I'm okay. And finally, a lung collapsed, and I ended up in the hospital. Over the next couple days, both lungs collapsed. I got sepsis of the blood. ARDS, where your lungs harden, they crystallize, and they don't move anymore, and double pneumonia. And they had called my wife about 2-3 weeks into the coma and said, we need you to sign the treatment papers because he's gone, and we need to stop treatment. And she said, you know, you're good men, but you're men, and God will have the final word. You treat him till he gets up. And a few days later, I came out of that coma with no memory. I have no life memories. I don't remember being a child. I don't remember what I used to do, even my work, other than what people tell me I did. So through the course of that, of not being able to go back to my normal life, it's funny, I used to get in the car to go to work, and I'd call my wife and like, where am I going? And she's like, well, you're going to Digital Insight. I'm like, what is that? She's like, that's where you work. And I'm like, well, what do I do? And she's like, park the car and I'll come and get you. And about a year of that not being able to function, I saw an angel, and I believed that I could create angels. My wife, a very kind woman, by the way, said, you know, Bill, you forgot a lot about your life. You have no talent. You've never drawn, you can't write. I'm like, I know, but I think I can do this. And that's how it started. I've been creating angels now for just under 3 years. And in that time, I have angels in the Vatican. The president has an angel, and on, just a very large list of people who own my angels. I've been very blessed. These angels, here's one of my favorites. I have 2 little stepsons. One of them's deathly afraid of the dark. So during my troubled time when I couldn't sleep and I couldn't work and I couldn't do the things that I used to do, I felt my job was to make sure my sons were asleep, because if he's afraid of the dark, the one thing I could do is just provide comfort to my sons when they fell asleep. And I went in one night to check them in their bunk beds, and I saw an angel holding my youngest son, one of my twin boys. And I went and woke my wife up, and I said, you know, there's an angel in the boys' room. And she's like, honey, you know, in the coma they give you a lot of drugs. Trust me, there's no angel in the boys' room. I'm like, trust me, there is. So we went back in, and there was no angel, of course. But I knew at that point that God gave me some sort of gift. I just didn't know what it was. And a friend of mine gave me a scroll saw. And she's like, do you want this saw? My wife's like, don't give him that. And I'm like, why? She goes, do you know how many times you've been hurt with saws and drills? I'm like, I don't know anything. It's a limitless for me. I don't know how many times I've been hurt. I don't know what I can't do. And I'm going to make angels. And that's how it started. I've been blessed with the love of family and friends. I've been touched by God. I have seen my angel countless times, and all of those things surround me, envelope me in a grace that I never knew was possible. Like, I don't remember my life before, but as I hear stories about my life, it was not very graceful. It was not very kind. And all that's been stripped away, and now I wake up every day like a child. I only have 2 days of real memory, so I'm not mad at anyone. I have no expectation of the day. I wake up happy. I wake up childlike. You know, I'm blessed every day I wake up, you know, and I remind myself how important it is to spend time with your family and to spend time with your friends, you know, and to laugh and to share and to not be mired down in the day-to-day paying the bills and making the car run and you know, all the things that just take the joy from your life. Those things are important and you have to do them, but during the course of doing those things, it's important to remember the contribution you make to the people around you and the contribution they make to your life. And that is what keeps me connected. Wow. My wife helps me paint these beautiful angels. So when I make the angel, I take it down to her where she works and I give her the angel. And then she brings them up to me when she's finished painting, which is sometimes 3, 4, 5 days. And it's seeing it for the first time. I forget I make them. I know I make angels every day, but after 3 years of doing it, I can't tell you how I do it. It's just, you know, I start the day with a prayer. I start the day happy. I ask for angels, and every day I get angels. I consider it a blessing every day, every day. You know, to be able to wake up happy, I don't know what it's like not to wake up happy, but I see people around me who are not connected. They're, you know, they're just so, the world has just beat them down, I think. Like, I see it. I can't feel it, but I see it in their faces. And it's so foreign to me. It's so foreign to me because I do wake up happy every day. And what a blessing that is, to be able to see your angel, to be able to create angels that touch other people's lives. I hear incredible stories of people who own these angels that tell me everything from healing broken marriages to health to starting families, just an incredible amount of stories associated with these angels. And to think that I'm a part of that, you know, it's a miracle for me. So the coma was absolutely the best thing that ever happened in my life. There was a couple things I wrote down, so I don't remember them, but I know it's my handwriting. One of the things that struck me when I came out of my coma was when they would come in to speak to me, watching people's mouths was, it must be how a baby sees us when we're trying to play with them, because it's the oddest thing you can imagine. It was scary. It was very scary. I don't remember anything about the coma. I didn't know where I was or who I was. So I wasn't scared. I just wasn't anything. You know, I'd look at the same people every day and not remember who they were, you know, and they'd pat your hand and, you know, you'll be okay, but I didn't realize, well, I wasn't okay. I didn't realize I wasn't okay. Yes, I had to learn how to walk. I guess my wife was with the physical therapist, and they stood, you know, after you've been in a coma, you're not well. And they stood me up and they said, okay, you know, let's try to take a step. And I didn't even know what that meant. They had to move my legs, and therapy was about 6 months of learning how to do everything again. You know, it was really odd. I've always kind of been a cuddler, you know, like I hug my kids like constantly. I'm sure they're like, back off. I love that physical sensation, but that's all it was for me. Like, sex wasn't even a thought for me. I wasn't even sure what the difference between men and women were when I woke up, because, well, you're in a hospital, everyone kind of looks the same, but over the course of time, you know, I started to fall back into, I think, our primal selves. You know, I think we're born with that sexual capacity and sexual drive, but I don't even remember the first time. Like, I don't remember that at all. I just, you know, and now, like I said, I'm so surrounded by love that I feel like I hug everybody I meet. Somebody told me the other day, just the other day, they said, you know, Bill, some people don't like to be hugged, and like it as a child, and that's what I feel like, it just doesn't compute, like why not? You know, so for me, everything is kindness and love and touch. I don't know, and that's what feeds me. So it's been a learning experience to try to draw some boundaries for myself. But like I said, I think like a 4-year-old, and 4-year-olds want to be hugged. But you know, I think that comes from your base, from what we're born with. I think that's part of our DNA, is our composition is to be sexual beings. I believe that. You know, so we have a very healthy life in all stages of our life. It's probably a little harder for her than it is for me, because I wake up happy every day. I don't worry about the bills. I don't worry about this. I don't worry about that. But somebody has to do that, and I'm assuming that's her. You know, I like everything. I just like everything. You know, I'm not sure if as people, if we just open our minds to the world and just say, the world is a blessing, everything in it, you know, the bad things, the good things. There's nothing I dislike at all. Like, everything's a learning experience for me. Every day is an opportunity for me to touch someone else. But more importantly, is every day is an opportunity for other things to touch me. You know, I try new foods that I think are new. And, you know, Shannon, my wife, she's like, no, you know, I used to make that for you before. And I'm like, before what? Because I forget I was in a coma. Like, I just don't remember what that means. You know, and there's no reruns in our house. Everything's new on TV. Like, there's never a dull moment at my house. Every day is a blessing.